Welcome to the Know Your Dane Podcast, unlocking the secrets to the Danish mentality. The purpose of this podcast is to give you, the listener, the opportunity to learn more about the Danish mentality, culture, and history. This episode topics are
Nurseries and Kindergarten, the Danish school system, nursing homes. After childbirth, visits from the home healthcare provider and daycare services, the child's next step in the Danish welfare society is the nursery or the creche. Nurseries provide overall care for children aged 0 to 3 years. It can be either a privately owned or municipally owned institution. The nursery offers childcare, educational activities, and physical and mental stimulation from a developmental perspective for each individual child. Payment may vary from municipality to municipality depending on the parent's income. With a low income, it is possible for one's child to attend nursery for free. When the child has become too old to go to nursery school, the next step is the transition to kindergarten, an educational institution targeted at 2 to 7-year-olds. It should be added that some creches and kindergartens are integrated institutions, which means the child will attend nursery and kindergarten in the same building. There are several types of kindergartens in Denmark. For example, some focus on the outdoors and are called forest kindergartens. Here the children are often outside for most of the day. Other institutions focus on sports or culture, and private institutions can have a pedagogical outlook. The Danish school system. An American blogger, Alison McHugh, wrote her experience as an expat on her blog, Our House in Aarhus. She mentions the law of Jante as an integral part of the Danish society, but also underlines a big difference regarding the way Danes look at education. Where the United States and other countries focus on making elite or special programs for gifted children, the Danish public school system focuses on the social part of going to school and giving every child a chance, as well as encouraging the more gifted children to help their fellow classmates. The perspective on school and education in Denmark can also be seen as a Scandinavian way of looking at democracy, where the United States focuses on giving the individual the right to pursue their freedom. The Danes want that right to be reflected in the society as a whole. This different way of looking at education has a historic and cultural origin, stemming from the Grundtvig's folk high school's teachings on giving opportunity to the many, even though it could take something away from the elites. As the Danish folk singer Kim Larsen once put it, the rich can pay a higher tax than the poor because they will make it anyway. Which school for your child? In Denmark, each child is connected to a certain district school in their neighborhood. That gives them the right to go to that school. But if the parents choose to send their child to another school because of special needs or other reasons, then they are entitled to go to that school, but only if there is room in the school. Enrolling a child in a public school is done online on the community's digital platform. It is also possible to send your child to a private school, but that is more expensive. Folkeskolen, Danish Municipal Primary and Lower Secondary School. As the Danish school education portal EMU describes it, the Danish public primary school is the major official school offered to the country's children and their parents. It is age divided into 3 main parts. Indskolingen, which covers kindergarten through 3rd grade. Here there is an interdisciplinary collaboration between teacher and educator seeking to create a solid foundation for the individual student. In these grades, the subjects consist of Danish, mathematics, English, and Christianity, as well as a combination of nature and technology and performance-based subjects such as music, sports, and visual arts. The next step in the children's schooling is mellemtrinet, which covers the 4th through 7th grades. Here the teaching is expanded to subjects such as crafts and design, and another foreign language is introduced, as the students may choose to study either French or German. After these years, the children will be included in the 3rd stage of the Folkeskolen, which is called Udskolingen. Here the focus is on improving existing skills as well as preparing the children for the next educational step, the implementation of youth education. Here there are also several specialized subjects such as physics, chemistry, and biology, as well as important orientation subjects such as social sciences and geography. Other types of schools. However, it should also be mentioned that there is a free choice with regards to schooling in Denmark, and there are a number of alternatives to folkeskolen, such as Waldorf schools. These schools consist of 14 schools at the country level, where there are many possibilities for the children with a broad range of subjects, such as Danish, mathematics, and several language subjects, as well as nature and craft subjects with a focus on creativity, philosophy, and humanism. Here it is possible that children can start with kindergarten and continue to all 12 school steps within the superstructure. Another widespread alternative to folkeskolen is the democratically founded Danish School of Schools, which consists of approximately 50 schools which describe themselves as progressive schools. There is a reformed educational background for teaching that is not based on politics or religion. However, there is a strong focus on social engagement and involvement in society with, for example, travel abroad and project assignments. There are also a number of other types of schools in Denmark, for example, religious schools anchored in Christianity, Islam, or Judaism. Upper secondary education. After the completion of primary school, Danish students have the opportunity to study for several types of youth education. The general type of this education lasts 3 years, during which the student receives education and skills in natural sciences, social sciences, and humanities. There are also a number of other secondary education programs of varying length and focus, for example, special science and trade. There is also HF, a 2-year program in which the student will subsequently be allowed to study to be a nurse or a school teacher, or trade-related education such as a caretaker or a painter. If you have completed upper secondary education, you also have the opportunity to apply for and study at one of the Danish universities. For all programs in Denmark, students are entitled to receive state education support at the age of 18 years old. For students not residing with their parents, the rate in 2018 was 6,090 Danish kroners per month before tax, which is about $955. If your education is prolonged and you are no longer eligible for state education support, you can get a cheap student loan with an interest rate of 1%. Nursing homes. The last stop in the Danish welfare system is the nursing home. In Denmark, there are generally more measures for taking care of the elderly. You can try to keep the elderly in your own home for the longest possible time. Subsequently, it is possible for the elderly individual to move into a sheltered residence where there is professional support 24 hours a day. The elderly person has to pay for their stay, their medicine, and their food, but they still receive a pension. Know Your Dane, Unlocking the Secrets to the Danish Mentality, is a comprehensive guide to Danish culture. The book covers key events in Danish history from the Middle Ages until today, including a deeper look at the eternal rivalry between Denmark and Sweden, one of the most complex and dramatic relationships in history. Know Your Dane uncovers and analyzes the Danish national identity, including Danish cuisine, holiday traditions, and cultural phenomena such as the law of Jante, the concept of hygge, and how to navigate the Danes' carefully nuanced humor and social interaction. Learn more about the inner workings of the Danish welfare state, such as the 37-hour work week, gender equality, and the Danish educational system, and discover the most famous citizens of Denmark, from scientists and architects to authors, actors, and directors.
You have been listening to the Know Your Dane podcast, a Cope and Tell production. The podcast is written and produced by Danish historian Rune Edbergs.